Blessings, everyone. It's time for the incoming wave that will be here to stay, landing and integrating into the collective experience starting this week. Remember, these are new dynamics, new truths, and new reality mechanics that are becoming a part of the regular experience for all peoples. I want to make sure that it's very clear, and I will, until these become so regular and just standard for people, I don't want to forget to mention that to anybody, because if a person is new, they might think I'm just talking about for this week, and it's not really how it goes. It's really about what is landing this week, but what is here to stay. Also, I do want to recommend for everybody who is on the path to check out the Global Unity meditations that are on Sundays. I have shared these before on the YouTube community posts, as well as my Instagram and my Facebook. They are not online. You get out and you do it yourself, whether in nature or you want to do it in your house, that's fine as well. It's a Global Unity meditation focusing on love, serenity, peace, harmony, and of course the acceleration of the shift and the raising of the vibration of the planet and consciousness. It's at 5:11 a.m., 8:11 a.m., and 11:11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can follow the links below to Sandra Walter's page, where there are time zone converters and additional graphics to help you understand what that is all about. I typically show up for the 11:11 a.m., but everyone is really feeling a good charge when they get done with this. You can have a powerful energy boost, acclimate to a lot of the incoming waves that are coming in. It can be very healing. There will be all kinds of awesome opportunities to also feel your connection to the human heart grid. It really, really makes a difference when we go through this change in consciousness to be in step and even ahead of the expansions and the shifts in progress. It's a big focus on peace, love, harmony, unity, as well as revelation of spiritual truths, the opportunity to experience true spiritual freedom. It's a terrific, terrific experience if you've never done it before. So, what is going on when it comes to this week? What is landing this week? This week is very interesting. We have the Hierophant upright, the Moon upright, and the Hanged Man. And I keep seeing this emphasis on split personalities, split realities, multiple lives, timelines being amplified, but also timeline choices coming up here in the interest of eliminating polarity. When we talk about split personalities, split realities, and multiple lives, I am talking more about the life stream, the paths one is on, splitting of paths, reconciliations of paths, but also seeing how the divisions that occur within us or on the external, in usually both, have to be amplified for us to see what is really going on, so we can actually make a holistic and sensible decision. Because with the Hierophant and the Moon, we are seeing both a dispensation of knowledge, but also an understanding of mysteries that need to be revealed at this time. The Hanged Man is suspending a lot of courses, a lot of timeline choices, or possibly even works in progress this week. Not necessarily forever, but we are seeing the amplification of the understanding of two sides to everything, or multiple sides, multiple facets of everything. Everyone is being given the gift of the ability to perceive both spiritual and, I guess you could say, the mundane nuance of it all, which is incredibly important, because when we have the dispensation of knowledge as well as mysteries being uncovered, we are getting a chance to also see where our microcosmic experience is actually not only contributing to the macrocosmic experience, but we get to see how they actually interplay with one another and what's really, really going on. And I do feel this push to tell everyone, please, for us, this week, or if it becomes a habit, that's great. Never forget to observe what's happening in your immediate reality as a microcosm of the macrocosm. Don't default to narratives, conditioned loyalties, agenda, or vendetta journeys, whether in your personal life or in the geopolitical scape. I know a lot of people are going through a geopolitical awakening, but remember, that's kind of like pre-kindergarten step when it comes to the full awakening experience. So it's not always a good idea to just kind of get stuck there and go round and round. And with the suspension and surrender of all of that, we start getting this understanding of not only multiple sides to multiple stories, multiple sides to multiple people, multiple sides to multiple narratives, but we're also seeing the other side of ourselves, the other side of our soul, the other side of the spiritual processes going on that actually make this reality experience a reality experience. And it goes beyond being psychic, reading tarot cards, or observing astrology. Everyone this week is getting a chance to go deep. And it's a really, really cool, and in my case, much expected, anticipated, and prayed for experience, because there is a release of what was considered the old, stable, normal. There is a weird, almost, how would I describe it? There's almost a oxymoronic energy at play as well, or an oxymoronic experience coming to everyone. There's no going backwards, and yet there is a receiving of what was denied in the past. And there is a sense that that timeline reconciliation, everyone getting back on their true soul's journey, getting once again amplified and revved up. It is going to be a confusing week because this is a mastery level wave. This is something that is going above and beyond where we might consider, once again, the early stages of awakening. And people are starting to get an understanding of how cause and effect really works on the subtler and more etheric levels. It's going beyond thought and action at this point. People are becoming a lot more aware of how ripple effects in their own energy field, the energy fields of the company they keep, as well as the energy fields that they propagate or propel, are actually also showing up in their immediate reality. A good way to explain it would be, if you think that the macrocosm, so what you see going out on the external, is divorced from what is going on in your relationships, your personal life, your health, your own spiritual journey, take a second and think about that. Take a second and think about that. It's not. What you put out into the external, whether it's in person, whether it's in social media, whether it is on the spiritual or the non-physical planes, you will be experiencing that very, very close to home, within your own home. And in a lot of cases, we can actually see the flip side. What is happening with us and our immediate experience does, of course, generate the outside world as well. It reflects our entire life. And I think that people are going to at least be shown that. It may be a bitter bit of medicine that could be coming to certain folks who might not want that level of responsibility, depending on where they are at this level of consciousness. Some people are still kind of in a state where they would rather leave it up to the spiritual people or the temple or the church or the whatever, and they're not necessarily ready to take on that level of personal accountability and ownership for what's going on in their own reality and how they contribute to the collective reality experience. But this is a week where everyone still gets that medicine. There is a very profound understanding that we are now becoming aware of what any choice will do to our own reality experience, what we bring into our life, what we send out, what we emote, what we carry. The relationship between the microcosm and the macrocosm is very much a tight and intimate one, but the barrier, the boundary between the microcosmic experience and the macrocosmic experience is thinning. The veil between the microcosm and the macrocosm is thinning. Imagine what people will do with their choices when they now have an opportunity to see what they run in their own personal circle is actually dictating their own personal timeline. A lot more accountability, a lot more personal responsibility, and yes, I would imagine, as an optimist, a lot more love. The Hanged Man is asking for a suspension of course for a lot of people. This is not saying that there's a suspension of courses for everyone across the board and everything's going to come to, a freeze in your own personal journey. But you will be seeing that a lot of journeys that are really not in the highest interest of all concerned are getting put on ice for you to test drive an alternative road, an alternative path, an alternative reality. Give that alternative reality its due time and its due reverence and consideration, because you will, of course, get your chance to choose, but this week is going to present you with an opportunity to live a completely different life. And I feel as though this is going to be, with the Hierophant, an opportunity for you to commit to a different life than what you have been in. This is all in the interest of bringing people into their own creator state of power. But the reason it might feel like it's dragging on, or it might feel as though it is something that is getting worse, is because, as with any personal lesson, and let's face it, a collective can go through a collective personal lesson, sometimes when there isn't enough personal initiative to make that shift, to just aim for the highest experience, the symptoms, the sickness, the distortion and dysfunction get amplified. It reaches a boiling point. That's what this year has been all about. Now, for those who are maybe hoping that things just maybe go back to, quote, normal, or they were invested in maybe succeeding or prospering in the old dynamic or in an older world, so to speak, this week may be uncomfortable for them, because if they are expecting the external to uphold that reality experience for them, that's not really where this year is going. This time, nobody else is going to manifest that reality for you. And so if there is this very big push on maybe reviving or going back to an older paradigm, this is the week that basically says, no, this eclipse gateway is too strong. It's spelling the end of the past. And I think that for a lot of people, it is a very strong cup of coffee, but at the same time, it's very liberating. So I hope that this helps you out. I hope that, when you're watching these things, you're looking and taking some time. You may have to come back and watch this video again as we get to about midweek. And I am told right now that another wave is coming midweek, but I need to wait until midweek to put it up. So you'll have an incoming wave probably coming Tuesday night, Wednesday. But please pay attention to what is going on. As I've said before, our in-groups, whether it's our family, our circle of friends, our social media connections, are every bit as part of our microcosmic reality experience as our macrocosmic experience. So now we get to understand and see what we are co-creating. This is a state that a lot of people who have been on the path for decades, had to work to get to, and it would become an awareness for them a few years in. But now a lot of folks who maybe didn't even bother to pick up a book or attempt meditation are going to be awakening to this as well. Very, very cool step the collective is taking.